very much look forward to dealing with the president in the future, including counsel.
He had wounds that weren't visible. It's a coward thing to say that you're weak. Soldiers are supposed to be strong. Big boys don't cry.
Should I let my son play football?
Any marketing that says we reduce concussion by X% is nonsense.
This is THV11 News at 10.
All right, cooler temps are finally moving into the state, and it's what everyone is talking about tonight.
Here we go. Chief Meteorologist Ed Buckner in the Weather Garden to kick off our 10 o'clock news. Ed?
Yeah, I mean, the weekend's here, and there's a lot going on, and it's certainly going to feel very much like fall. Tonight, that's a gorgeous shot. What you can't tell on that shot is we're under mostly cloudy skies. These clouds have really rolled in from the subtropical jet. I'll explain that to you coming up in weather, but other than a few high clouds, high and mid-level clouds, that's really all that's going on. A cold start to the day, 40 degrees our low in Little Rock. It was 30 up in Fayetteville, so 35 in Mountain Home. So yeah, I'd say things are changing. We are getting a little bit colder. Perfect fall football weather. I tell you what, here are some local teams, OBU and Henderson State, right across the street. It's going to be 62 degrees and sunny for the Battle of the Ravine. UAPB headed to Houston at Texas Southern, 73 at kickoff there. UCA at home against Nicholls State, 60 degrees and sunshine. If you're going to Fayetteville or if you're headed to Jonesboro, I'll have those forecasts for you coming up in just a bit. It will be pretty chilly in those parts of the state. Anyway, much more about your weekend ahead coming up in weather.
All right, thanks, Ed. President-elect Donald Trump met President Obama for the first time today during a 90-minute meeting at the White House. They talked about the transition of power while people from coast to coast hit the streets in protest.
It is important for all of us, regardless of party and regardless of political preferences, to now come together, work together.
I'm here because
meantime, thousands of protesters flooded the streets in major cities, including Portland, Oregon, and Minneapolis for the second night in a row. Meanwhile, Trump told House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell today that immigration reform and health care will be his top priorities when he takes office.
And back here in Little Rock International, DACA and Hispanic students fear that they'll be deported when he takes office after his election. UALR faculty held a meeting tonight to help calm their fears. Dr. Terry Richard wants to help these students and says if President Donald Trump follows through with his campaign promises, these students need a backup plan.
But those students have to be prepared. They have to be prepared for perhaps actions that will be taken against them. More issues with maintaining eligibility to go to school. They probably won't be able to work, and that indeed it may impact on their parents.
Discrimination is another issue he worries could lead to students not being interested in international programs here in the U.S.
Tonight, we're introducing you to Verify.
Now, this is something our parent company is doing. Similar to our 11 Listen stories, reporters take real people on the road to get their questions answered.
Well, last week, a Texas high school football player died after being hit in the head. Now, the mother of a 9-year-old wants to know if it's safe for her son to play football.
David Schechter, with our sister station in Dallas, took her across the state to help her make a decision.
Football is an American classic that's in crisis. The game teaches teamwork and character, but it's also far more likely than any other sport to give a kid a concussion. And that has parents worried.
Nice, that was a good one.
Jacelyn Myers is 9.
How do you ask her? What do you say?
Can I play football?
Pamela Jones doesn't like the idea, but she's got an open mind, and she wants to know, should my kid play football? So let's start this trip out with a basic. The brain is jiggly like a jello mold. A hit to the head or even the body can bang and stretch the brain. That trauma can actually cause changes in the brain, leaving it susceptible to more stress and more injury.
What's the name?
Pamela and I are feeling a hit at DeSoto High School in suburban Dallas. It's one of the top football programs in America, and Todd Peterman's the head coach.
At the age of 9, do you think I should let him play football?
In my opinion, I think you should allow him to play flag football.
Did a football coach just say no tackle football? Yeah, he did. The coach has his own young son.
Well, the question is, does my 10-year-old play tackle football at the age of 10? That answer is no. You know, there's not trainers around. There's nobody trained to handle concussions that know what it looks like.
It's the athletic trainer who identifies and treats a concussion. The National Association of Athletic Trainers says one should be present at all games without exception. But in Texas, where football is king, schools are not required to have one.
Sure looks like we're spending a lot of money on helmets and computers and balls, and we have 5 sets of uniforms, right? That's
Where's the trainer?
But where is the one who's looking out for my kid?
Should I let my son play football?
Yes, but is my answer. I don't think I want my 9 or 10-year-old out there hitting heads with one another, you know, while their brain health is developing. But would I be comfortable with my son here under my care? Absolutely.
In the last few years, doctors have increasingly said the brain, inflamed with injury, needs time to heal, and continued trauma can lead to a brain disease called chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE.
We put a warning label on cigarettes. Why wouldn't we put a warning label on a football helmet?
Cindy Fiesel is telling us about her husband, Grant. He played 11 seasons in the NFL. In retirement, Cindy says their life became almost unbearable. He was an alcoholic, impulsive, and depressed.
His speech became stuttery at one point, and he would just say the same thing over and over again.
After Grant died at age 52, Cindy finally learned what caused those changes to his personality. An autopsy proved he had CTE, something that's even been found in the brains of a select number of high school players.
I mean, I know it's a money-making deal. I know I live in Texas. I know a lot of coaches don't want to hear what I have to say. Maybe some people don't even think it's real. I don't know that some people have even heard of CTE. I would just have to say to those people, if you think that I'm making this up, you still have your son, or you still have your husband.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Look, I told you I was a crybaby when I came.
Me too. Me too.
Do you think I should let my son play football?
Please don't. Please don't.
How are you feeling about that?
It just really made my heart go out to her, and just made me kind of realize that I wouldn't want that for my son.
Our final stop is a visit with Dr. Hunt Bazier. He's the chair of brain surgery at University of Texas Southwestern and one of the NFL's top experts on concussion. New research from Dr. Bazier's department shows even at the high school level, repeated impacts to the heads of football players can cause measurable changes in their brains.
A question that Pamela has is, do helmets prevent concussions?
No. They protect against the more violent injuries, but they may magnify the mild ones. Any marketing that says we reduce concussion by X% is nonsense.
Pamela would ask you if she was here, should my kid play football?
12 to 14 is a better age, and I would say there are lots of things you need to know.
And here's what they are. Kids need strong necks to support their helmet and good physical conditioning. Schools must have athletic trainers and concussion management programs. Helmets should be less than 3 years old, and players must be taught the right way to tackle.
Then I think you've got a scenario that's going to be very safe for that child. If any of those things are not right, it's going to be a crapshoot.
Very informative. Very informative.
That's it for Pamela's journey.
Our question was, should my kid play tackle football? What's the answer?
My answer is no, no tackle football at 9 years old. I verify that.
But she's not against football altogether. On the one hand, Cindy made a big impact on her, but so did the doctor's advice. So she's decided she would let him play if he's older, stronger, and the program is safe.
What age?
About 14, maybe.
So Jacelyn, you might get to play tackle yet, but don't take my word for it. Take hers.
Gosh, this is a tough decision for me too. You know, I'm so apprehensive about my son playing football in the future, or any sport for that matter.
And as long as football has been around, this issue in the last 6 years has really come to the forefront and is impacting pro football viewership.
Yeah, that's true. And we want to know what you think. What is the best age for kids to start playing sports like football?
Share your thoughts on the THV11 Facebook page. Ed's got his thoughts on the forecast when we come back.
Luray's, the Diamond Center, is a proud sponsor of THV11 Weather.
He showed me around his hometown, and then he asked. Next to the heat of the bonfire, he softly whispered.
We took a walk through the forest, and that's when he asked.
We went on a hiking trip, and at the highest point, he screamed,
"Will you marry me?" Stunning is standard at Luray's, downtown Hot Springs, or lurays.com.
You might have unbundled your digital services to save money, but chances are you're spending more now. Switch to the Sunlink Triple Play, just $79.95 a month with our 2-year price guarantee. Get 50 meg internet that's 16 times faster than DSL with unlimited data plans available. Plus Sunlink TV with free HD, even phone with E911. That's 3 powerful services for one low price. Our 2-year price guarantee is turning unbundlers into bundlers. So call today. Sunlink, more power to you.
It's down home savings time
at Akel's Carpet One,
where all the fixings are free.
With every carpet purchase, take your fill of all the extras.
Free installation,
free carpet pad,
free measure and estimate,
free furniture moving,
free delivery,
free take up and haul away.
Now that's what I call all the fixings.
And they're all free.
Buy the floor, nothing more. Everything else is on us.
And you'll save hundreds at Akel's Carpet One. We make it beautiful
for less.
Get THV11 weather and Ed Buckner's forecast on Big 94.9, Little Rock's greatest hits. THV11 forecasts are brought to you from the Crane Kia Weather Garden. Now, weather from the Crane Kia Weather Garden.
Another gorgeous night. Not quite as cool out here as it was last night, and I don't think it'll be as cold. We do have some high cloudiness overhead that's going to kind of keep our temperatures just a little bit warmer. Let's take a look outside. It's about time we brought back Jake's Take. There's Jake from North Little Rock, shooting from North Little Rock. Beautiful shot there. I believe that's the Junction Bridge, yeah. Just the flags are pretty still. Oh, it's the submarine. It's the Razorback. Cool shot under mostly cloudy skies. Look how calm the river is. Just a quiet, quiet evening with just a few mid and high level clouds out there. All right, let's go to the maps now. Thank you, Jake, for that shot. Beautiful. Just here you see it. The clouds coming in from the south and the southwest. Mainly, as I mentioned, high, thin cirrus clouds. No moisture with these, so there's no rain. Just enough to kind of act like a little bit of a blanket, or maybe a sheet, let's call it, and keeping our temperatures up just a bit. At the surface, there's an area of high pressure. That's what's keeping our weather pretty benign. Here comes the next cold front. It's in Kansas now. It'll be moving through tomorrow afternoon, about 18 hours from now, 12 to 18 hours from now. At the upper level of the atmosphere, again, this is the upper atmosphere. There's a big area of low pressure spinning right here. That's tapping into some Pacific moisture, bringing it across Mexico and bringing us this form of cloud cover. So that's why we're going to see a mostly cloudy night tonight. Numbers from Little Rock was 69 the high, 69 also in North Little Rock, and our average is 66, so we were running just a little bit warmer than normal. Tomorrow I think will be even a little warmer than that. Currently, it's 50 degrees with the cloudy skies, dew point 46. That dew point is a little bit higher than it was this time last night, and that's why temperatures won't cool off as much. The winds have already shifted now to the west-southwest as that high located in the Arklatex moves away from us. 46 currently in Mena, 46 in Russellville, it's 47 over in Lone Oak, and 47 in Pine Bluff tonight, 51 in Benton, 46 in Mayflower, Conway, and Cabot. So there's the high. It moves away overnight. Winds will be out of the west, keeping our temperatures up. Cold front comes through around 6, 7 o'clock across central Arkansas. It comes through around 6 or 7, right about when high school football starts. So it will cool down tomorrow evening, but the really cooler air mass will be coming in as we head into Saturday afternoon. Temperatures not rising much, and Sunday looking pretty cool as well. Tonight, a low near 44 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, a warmer day briefly ahead of the front. 73, the expected high under mostly sunny skies. So a nice and mild Veterans Day, and the weekend looking cooler, but again, very, very benign.
For this next story, we ask for your special undivided attention and to really think and reflect on what we're about to say, because tomorrow, November the 11th, is Veterans Day, a day set aside to honor those who served our country. But if we're going to truly honor veterans and the sacrifices they've made, it means we must also confront and face the dark side of war. There's a growing crisis in the military. Too many veterans returning from war or dealing with the battles on the field by choosing to take their own lives. And the reasons are many. Often it's the end result of how they feel the military treats and deals with mental health. Old soldiers call it a catch-22. Young ones refer to it as Charlie Foxtrot. Pardon the profanity, but that means it's a cluster. THV11 and our parent company, Tegna, are working to help these veterans and their families. Tonight, we present the first of our two-part series, Mission Charlie Foxtrot, a local soldier failed by the Army, and the fight to change the system. Here's our Rolly Hoyt.
He had wounds that weren't visible, obviously.
The sights in any national cemetery always evoke certain emotions: reverence, respect, sorrow, pride. This should not be a place for shame. But a growing number of men and women are buried here because shame and fear became part of their military lives.
It's a coward thing to say that you're weak. Soldiers are supposed to be strong. Big boys don't cry.
Deborah Johnson is a Gold Star mother. She is visiting her son Jeremy. He is here in the Arkansas State Veterans Cemetery after taking his own life in 2010. The 25-year-old was transitioning out after a year-long tour in Kandahar, Afghanistan. He killed himself despite being on a suicide watch and prescribed medication for depression and anxiety.
The bottle was found in his room. They were his wife's pain pills, Darvon. And so we had a conversation with his commanding officer that evening. And basically, he apologized and said that they had failed our son.
Johnson's suicide is one of thousands for veterans of America's wars since 2001. The widely cited rate puts it at about 20 vets a day. Most are Vietnam-era service members, but the numbers of recent vets is reaching a crisis. The growth comes despite advances in mental health treatment and improved medical care.
Here's the problem. The military can't allow thoughts of suicide within its ranks, and so service members are trained to look past the fear, even though war is horrific. Any service member, soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine who admits to that fear runs afoul of codes of conduct and the spirit that keeps fighting units together. And if a service member succeeds in taking their own life, well, then there's the thought that that person took the coward's way out or left behind their brothers.
Overcoming that stigma has become the mission for people like Chris Attig. He's a lawyer and retired Army captain. More and more, experts are saying these mental problems are war injuries and should be treated as such. But the military and the VA can't shake institutional norms.
Well, there is the stigma from military service that says, we're team-oriented, we're mission-oriented, and leaving your team is a crime, but selfish in a lot of ways.
Attig makes his living navigating this maze, helping vets get claims and benefits. A similar effort will be required to conquer the suicide crisis.
That there is a significant problem with how the VA treats mental health. They throw drugs at it. It takes on average 26 days to get a veteran in for a comprehensive mental health exam.
Those 26 days can be so dangerous, but there are ways it can be changed. Veterans groups know the signs and want to find those men and women at risk.
It's called Team Red, White, and Blue. And this is a group of veterans and non-veterans that basically create a connection to a community. They say, come on into our group, we're going to go outside, we're going to walk together, we're going to run together, we're going to talk, we're going to get out and be active together.
And military brass are listening to family members like Deborah.
I'm not smart enough to tell them how to fix it, but you know, for me, the key is to try to find the few soldiers that need more intensive therapy.
Signs that the most powerful military in the world can succeed in this mission.
It's a big problem, and I think they're working on it. It's just so big, it's hard to see any progress because it's so big.
In Little Rock, Rolly Hoyt, THV 11 News.
As you can see, Sergeant Johnson received full military honors. That's not how it goes for those men and women who are unsuccessful in their suicide attempts. It's another Charlie Foxtrot. They can lose all connection to the military and all the benefits that could help them. You can find a full breakdown of that cluster on our Veterans Day edition of THV11 News at 6 and THV11.com.